Saturday Night Live. Won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Do 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 ba-do do 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 ba-do 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 ba-do.
I love that it has an animated opening.
Yeah, just like everything else.
Throwback to our Epic Comedies month.
We're on a roll. Yeah, I think there was like a tiny...
There was very small in
Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
Gobies 2, as I call it.
Gobies 2.
Hey, I just want to make a quick announcement, everybody, before we get into it. Today is our 200th episode.
200th episode.
We have not missed a week for 200 weeks. I just want to thank Adam for his very, very, very hard work. I am a slacker, and I just kind of show up and ramble. But Adam puts so much work into the show, and
there were definitely a couple weeks where I didn't think we were going to make it.
Yeah, but we always did because of your hard work and dedication. And
yeah, thanks, Jim.
Throwing me out of bed and into the chair.
Unfortunately, not all 200 episodes are available. We do have some old episodes that were just not worth listening to.
Well, for those of you who have just joined us recently, we did start out as a morning radio show on a Portland internet station.
Yeah.
So for the first year...
Which just won best radio station in Oregon.
Nice. Shady Pines Radio.
Shady Pines Radio. They're really awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Shady Pines.
Brian there is awesome. He's great.
They're all great. Lucas Salazar, a good friend of ours, hooked us up with the gig, and then, as we went on, we just felt more like a podcast than a radio show, and we all amicably parted ways. And here we are today, and I just want to thank everybody who's been with us and who listens. And, if one person's listening, we're going to make the show because we love to make it.
Yeah.
And it really means a lot to us that people actually get up and listen to this crap.
It's crazy. We have a grip full of people that it's the first thing they listen to on Friday morning.
Amazing.
And it's weird.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I can't even listen to myself.
I don't. I never listen to the show after we're done recording.
I feel like I'm getting a radio voice today.
I kind of did a radio at the beginning. It was, but yeah, it's been great. Really appreciate everybody listening, and we get really great feedback. You can always email us at genxfilespodcast@gmail.com or leave comments. They have comments on everything now. So
let us know what you think. If you have any ideas for shows or show months, please let us know. We'd love to do some fan. We'd love to do like a fan favorite month where people just kind of tell us what they want us to cover, and we'll do it. So if you guys tell us what you want, we will definitely
tell us what you want, what you really, really want.
Tell us what you want, what you really, really want.
It'd be great. Let us know because God knows we have plenty of ideas, but we're always happy to cover whatever is interesting to you.
Yeah, we have a lot of friends who listen to we have some friends who listen to the show, and they're always giving input.
We have fans. They listen and they like to give input. Yeah.
We have fans. I'm just saying we don't have friends.
Right? No, God, no. I don't even know. We're not even friends.
No, not at all. That's the greatest acting of all.
We're like the Mythbusters guys. We just work together really well.
Oh, they're not friends?
Oh, my God, they hate each other.
Is that the myth of Mythbusters?
They busted that myth that they were friends.
Yeah. Well, we're like Chevy Chase and every one of his co-stars.
That's true.
Speaking of.
Yes, Christmas Vacation. I know this is not a perfect movie. But this is so hard on the nostalgia sheen for me. Like I was just the right age when it first came out, and it was so up my alley because it was so dumb. But I love it. I just love this movie.
I totally understand, and I get it, and I like this movie, and I liked it again more watching it this time.
Yeah.
But for me, this was the time when there were just so many garbage sequels coming out.
Oh yeah.
Caddyshack 2.
Yeah.
And as I said last week, I totally come around on Ghostbusters 2, but at the time I was not very, very much of a fan. I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
And so it was just this dirge of subpar cash grab sequels.
Yeah.
And I really did not like European Vacation, so it already had a sour taste.
Yeah, it was not good.
And we were coming to the realization that Chevy Chase was not a good person.
It was around this time when all the stories started leaking.
This was a bit of a victim of circumstance with me.
Yeah.
And watching it again, I did enjoy it a lot more. And there are things that I love the kids. They're my second favorite kids of the entire series. I love William Hickey.
Yeah. The cast in this is incredible.
Again, we were talking about this. This is definitely an example of the cast overcoming the material.
Yes.
And making it much better. But in a twist that we'll get to later, I kind of agree a little bit with our old pal Roger Ebert.
Yeah.
His assessment of this.
Hey, broken clock can still be right twice a day.
Oh, I give him a hard time.
I know, I do too.
But he, he's definitely a lot better than
Siskel.
Siskies.
Siskel was just a whiny old man.
Oh, that's why we don't quote him very often.
No, we do not.
But yeah, it's a fun holiday classic, and it is definitely a staple. But unfortunately, it's just the tone is just off. I think it's the director and the editor.
This is the interesting thing: is that for me, I was able to see the flaws in this after having written the script and like knowing how it was made,
right? And
seeing the flaws in the movie and how it could have been better.
Yeah,
like I still love this movie, and it's still one of the most quotable movies ever to me. But like I can totally see how with a different director, this would have been such a better movie.
Well, it goes to show that Chris Columbus, who is kind of hit or miss for me.
Yeah, I don't really like Chris Columbus.
Did he direct Home Alone?
He did.
Yeah. He did a great job with Home Alone. He got the slapstick comedy. He got the Looney Tunes reality version. Yeah. And the tone fit.
Right.
And I think my biggest issue, and this is with, I guess there's only 3, but I guess this is my big issue with this movie is there's just so much stupidity around Clark Griswold that it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's just, the reason why I love The First Vacation so much, and I think it is a perfect comedy.
Yeah, I agree.
And one of the best road comedies ever made.
Yeah.
Is because it's him reacting to things that happen.
Right.
And they're not things that are cartoonishly out of norm.
Right.
He's not an idiot. He's a bit clumsy.
Yeah.
And he's a bit aloof.
Yeah. He's not the smartest person, but he's not the dumbest person.
Exactly. But in this, it's just, okay, here he's stapling his
This
sleeve
feels like he's definitely gotten more dumb as the years have progressed.
It's like, you know what, Clark? I'm washing my hands of you, buddy.
Yeah. It's like, it's that friend that you're like, I've given you too many chances. Yes. We're done.
And it takes away, because there are some really great moments in this movie. Yeah. And there's some really nice, quiet moments. He with his him with his niece talking about Santa Claus is
Ruby
sweet.
Sue,
Ruby Sue.
Yeah.
The stuff with his wife. It's just
even at the department store, all the dialogue, like he delivers that so well with the attendant who's super hot and he's flustered.
He is best when he's fumbling.
Yeah.
Not bumbling.
Yes, that is a good observation.
Fumble. That should have been the motto. Fumble not bumble. Because when he's like, oh, it's very nipply, nip. That stuff. He is so good at that.
That weird kind of being awkward and ridiculous. Yeah.
He nails it, and he is a great physical comedian. I mean,
totally.
He ruined his body on Saturday Night Live being an amazing physical comedian, but I needed more heart and grounding to this movie.
Yeah.
And they snuck it in there. And like I said, it's still a great movie. I'm just a little nitpicky on it. But I did, again, enjoy this much more than I did in the past. Yeah. And although this is not like a holiday staple for me, it might become one.
It really is for me. Like this introduced me to Mele Kalikimaka, which is one of my favorite Christmas songs.
Yeah.
And then like there's just so many lines, there's so many things that I can see past the flaws.
Of course.
But yeah, it definitely John Hughes phoned it in a few times.
Well, this is the difference between seeing a movie when you're, like in junior high or high school and when you're in college. So
totally.
I have admitted on several occasions that I was a jaded douche during those years. And in those years, I wanted to dislike things. I wanted to find fault in things.
Right.
Because that proved my worth somehow.
You got to tear things down to make yourself better.
Right, exactly. Because I knew better.
Yeah. You knew better?
I knew no better. I knew no better.
You knew better. I think that's all you're trying to say.
No, I didn't know better.
You didn't know better.
Yeah, I knew
You did
no
not
better.
know better.
Yes.
There you go.
I knew no better.
Okay, wow.
Can't believe it's not butter.
Jim is having a stroke live.
Rubber baby.
Do you smell toast?
I smell almonds. My friends and I found fault in things, and we were also snoots. We were like Cassavetes snoots and independent snoots,
Right,
so we were automatically aghast at Hollywood. I could never separate myself completely from blockbusters and
of course not.
and that kind of because that was my bread and butter.
That's what you grew up on. Yeah.
I always, as much as I snooted into the arty aspect, I always had to have my entertainment. Like I've said during the last few shows, it's been really fun to rewatch these things as a person who's been through things.
Right. A more experienced person.
And a more forgiving person, and a person who just wants to be entertained and understands the difficulties in making a movie.
And that is definitely this movie. It is definitely entertaining.
So I am enjoying things more, and I did enjoy this more this time around. It's just, unfortunately now, every time I see Chevy Chase, it's very difficult to separate him from the last 30 years.
Yeah. From knowing how much of an ass he is.
Well, it's one of the biggest heartbreaking situations of talent crushes in my life.
Right.
Because I loved him so much in the Saturday Night Live foul play days. He was the most charming Fletch. Some of the greatest comedies ever, and then it would be like if Harrison Ford turned out to be a total crapo.
Yeah.
And everybody hated him. It's just it's disheartening when one of your heroes turns out to not be what you thought.
It's really disappointing because his ego definitely cost him his career. I mean, like he thought he was better than he was, and rather than just going with the flow and going with the things that he could have, we've talked about this before. I mean, we've definitely covered Chevy Chase a number of times.
And it's just it sucks that we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Instead of just celebrate him and who he was and his talent.
Yeah. Well, we can do both. Because, he was good in this movie.
He was great in this movie.
Yeah.
There are moments. I will say this about him. Even in all of the really bad movies that he was in, and I blame his agents. I blame bad decisions.
Yeah.
Because he made some super stinks.
Really bad movies.
But he very rarely, if ever, sleptwalked his way through it. Like he still did his best.
Yeah. And honestly, I think with Christmas Vacation, I think a lot of the issues were the script. I mean, I love John Hughes, and I think he's a great writer, but I think he was kind of lazy with this.
And honestly, too, it is the directing and the editing and the pacing.
Yeah.
Comedy, especially slapstick comedy, it is really difficult to do.
Oh, yeah.
And it is even more difficult to film.
Yeah.
And there are these set pieces that went on too long.
Yeah.
They weren't cut very well.
Yeah.
And they also weren't very entertaining. It's they're like good ideas not executed great.
Yeah.
Like the sled thing.
The sled thing, when he was up in the attic and he busts through the ceiling, he could have easily gotten out. But he didn't, and they just like, we'll just sweep that under the rug, and he'll just hang out. We'll have a nice treacly moment of him being nostalgic for the past.
Well, that's the thing, is they could have had that nice moment, which was really nice, and it was funny seeing him dressed up as a old 1920s woman.
Yeah.
But they could have had that moment without the complete idiocy that got us there. There is no way that stupid door didn't open.
Right.
That it doesn't lock.
Yeah. I disagree. I think I heard a lock. I think that what's her name? The wife's mom locked it. I think there was a lock that we didn't see. But I think they also added that in post because I think they realized that it was like, how does he not just get out?
But even if there was a locking mechanism, it would have been able to be. There's no way you could be locked up in the attic. I'm just saying.
Could be a deadbolt from below. I'm just saying.
How did she reach up? There's no deadbolt from below. There's nothing because it's flush. It's all
I
flush.
don't disagree. This is why a better director would have been, hey, John, rewrite this because it doesn't work.
And this is the problem of the movie, is that we're arguing about, we're not arguing, we're discussing
yes.
the issue of a trapdoor rather than all of the great funny things. And there are great funny things. The squirrel, the dog, Uncle Eddie.
All the character stuff is fantastic. It's just that some of the situations are not, they just don't work as well as in previous movies. And this is part of the issue that European Vacation had.
Yeah.
It was just kind of forcing them into situations rather than letting it organically grow.
That one was actively unfunny. Like,
yeah.
It was, I haven't seen that in decades. Maybe it's better than I thought. But I did not like that movie. I did not like
Idle's
the kids.
The only thing about it, the kids were annoying.
And
oh my god, the sister was so annoying in that movie.
And she's usually a good little actor.
Yeah,
but they gave her such a thankless part, and him and Rusty too. They were just so unlikable. Their parts were unlikable.
Weird. Yeah.
It wasn't the kids' fault. It was the writers' fault. And it's, again, that's one thing that this movie did better. Is the kids were always kind of the smart ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they did a good job casting the kids. I thought, I was going to say Jared Padalecki, but that's not him.
Johnny Galecki.
Johnny Galecki was great.
Yeah.
He's just a smart little guy.
Yeah.
And, he was very like, hey, Dad. He was almost the father.
Yeah.
Right? He always had to check on his
Which
dad.
was very much like the first movie.
Yeah. And Juliette Lewis is an exceptional actor.
Oh, she's so good.
She was so good in this, and you can see little seeds of what's to come in the Scorsese in
Cape Fear.
Cape Fear,
Yeah.
which was an incredible performance.
Yeah.
So creepy, so uncomfortable. But she has always been just a great actor. And and Beverly D'Angelo's amazing.
Yeah, look, the casting is spot on for this entire movie. That was definitely not the issue, but that's why the stuff with the cast and the character stuff is much more interesting,
right,
than the gags and the like forcing them into being stupid.
That's the thing, is I think a lot of these gags were kind of forced on us.
Yeah,
and unneeded, because sometimes there's enough story in just inherent comedy that you don't need to add these ridiculous gags that kind of come out of nowhere.
You can almost see when the gags were written by John Hughes, like the bit where he can't get the lights to work, and then you see Beverly D'Angelo go, wait, I know what it is, and she flips it on, and the timing's perfect, and it's like John Hughes wrote that beat for beat.
Yeah, and that was great.
Yeah, but there was too much that was left up to an inexperienced director, and and it's unfortunate.
Directing comedy is not easy. Comedy is so much harder than drama in every aspect, in every respect. That it is the redheaded stepchild of the business. People don't respect comedians and comedic directors and comedic writers as much as they should, and it's unfortunate. But
it is really unfortunate.
So not a baddie. Let's get it going.
All right, well, take yourself back to 1989.
Yeah.
August 20th in Beverly Hills, California, Lyle and Eric Menendez shoot their wealthy parents to death in the family's den.
Yeah, they're back in the news now.
They are. They might be getting out.
Well, I've been following the case.
Yeah.
And they originally had the defense of sexual abuse by their father.
Yeah, it was more self-defense.
Right.
Yeah.
Or also just driven to manslaughter. It's more manslaughter than premeditated killing your parents for their money.
Right.
And since then, their father was a businessman who also represented Menudo, the band of young Mexican boys that kind of rotated.
After sheep guts. Yeah.
Yes. Welcome, sheep guts.
Yeah.
But at least one of the members of the band had come forward to say that Mr. Menendez had molested him as well.
Yeah.
So corroborated the story.
Right.
And I think they're going to reopen the case. And
are there? Oh my God! I was just gonna say, are their parents still alive?
Yeah.
That was literally like,
no,
okay,
Adam,
no, they are not.
They did not survive the murder.
They did not survive being shot to death.
They didn't pull a Jesus and
came back 3 days later and said, "We didn't molest anybody."
Exactly. But I if that is the case, then they should be resentenced as manslaughter.
No,
and they've
agreed.
served 30 years, and they should get out.
Yeah. October 17th, the 6.9 Loma Prieta earthquake shakes the San Francisco Bay Area and the Central Coast with a maximum Mercalli intensity of 9, which is violent. 63 people are killed. The 1989 World Series in baseball is postponed for 10 days as a result of the earthquake.
Yeah, we were watching the series when that happened.
Yeah, a lot of people watched it live. Yeah.
My roommate and good friend was from the Bay Area, so he was losing his mind when that happened.
Oh, I can imagine.
And but everybody was okay.
It was nasty.
He was
his
except
for this.
No, everybody in his family.
Except for the 69 people that died.
Well, everybody that mattered
people.
Was okay.
Yeah, that was the first time. It was so freaky seeing the because I didn't realize growing up in Iowa, we didn't have like multiple levels for like highways.
Yeah.
And seeing like highways sandwiching into each other, I was just like, oh, I'm never ever going to there.
Yeah.
Like that just seems very dangerous in a place where there's earthquakes all the time.
Yeah, there was that, and then just a few years later, we had the big LA quake.
LA, yeah.
And I was there for that. Oof.
Yeah. November 7th, David Dinkins becomes the first African-American mayor of New York City.
That's crazy to me that it took that long.
Yeah, 1989. Yeah. Now we have an African-American mayor right now in New York City.
Well, until he goes to jail.
He goes to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. December 1st, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is released in theaters.
Christmas Vacation.
Just in time for Mavis Staples to sing to us.
Christmas. I believe that song holds the record for saying the title of the movie a billion times.
More times, yeah. More times.
Mavis, we need 75 more Christmas Vacations, and I don't know if anybody's going to actually know what the name of the movie is until we put it in their brain.
I like it, but more Christmas
Vacation.
So National Lampoon's Vacation premiered in 1983, directed by Harold Ramis, written by John Hughes. Yeah. See, that to me is a much better theme song.
All they had to do was do Holiday Road and put a little chingy, 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 put some sleigh bells on it.
It's literally called Holiday Road, which is the funny thing is that I guess going on a holiday is would be the traveling.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was weird that movie used Holiday Road and Christmas Vacation did not.
Yeah.
Although, granted, they weren't obviously traveling anywhere for a Christmas vacation.
And we'll get into that, but I think that is the biggest mistake of the movie.
I agree. The original Vacation was based on a short story that John Hughes wrote for National Lampoon called Vacation 58, which was published in September of 1979.
Nice.
National Lampoon was a magazine, comedy magazine, that had been published for quite a while.
Didn't it start at Harvard as a Harvard Lampoon?
Yes.
And then grew out of that. Some of the greatest comedy writers. Conan O'Brien was the editor of
Lampoon.
the Harvard Lampoon for a while. And that was the dream, man. That was the dream of so many comedy writers, was to write for that.
Yeah.
And that was a pipeline to comedy writing jobs.
Yeah.
When Saturday Night Live started, that was a training ground.
Totally, yeah. It was. There were so many people, knew so many people. If you got a National Lampoon, you were set.
And it was, you went from Mad Magazine, Crack Magazine, Crazy Magazine, and then you went up to National Lampoon when you got when you wanted to see boobies.
Right.
But it was hilarious, and it was a great. It was the stepping stone from Mad. Mad was still great. National Lampoon was a little bit more.
It was a little more adult. Yeah.
And when you were a teenager, that's what you started reading, and I loved it, man. I thought it was just.
It was great. Some of the best writing. Yeah. So Vacation made $61.4 million from a $15 million budget.
Such a perfect comedy.
Perfect comedy. It is such a great movie. The second entry, National Lampoon's European Vacation, premiered in 1985, directed by Amy Heckerling and written by Robert Klein.
A very much imperfect comedy.
Yeah. John Hughes was not involved in this production in any way. It made $49.3 million from a $17 million budget.
Amy Heckerling is a great director, and it's a shame. I think she was bullied. I think she might, not bullied, but I think she was...
badgered? Or
I don't think she got the movie she wanted.
Heckered, whatever you call it. Yeah.
She was hecklered.
Hecklered.
Amy Heckerling was hecklered.
It just wasn't... It was not even weirder, and European Vacation, they spelled their name differently in that movie.
Everything about that movie was wrong.
It was like an alternate reality Griswolds. It was so weird.
It needs to be stricken from the franchise.
It really should. The third film was initially developed as National Lampoon's Australian Vacation, with rough drafts written by Eric Idle and Chevy Chase following the release of European Vacation.
All right, I could deal. That sounds good.
They're both good writers. The story was never finalized, however, and Christmas Vacation ultimately ended up replacing it altogether.
All right.
John Hughes returned for Christmas Vacation, writing the screenplay based off of his short story Christmas 59, which was published in National Lampoon in December of 1980. He said,
"The studio came to me and begged for another one, and I only agreed because I had a good story to base it on. But those movies have become a little more than Chevy Chase vehicles."
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I kind of feel like that's why he kind of phoned this one in.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, all right, I'm pretty much doing it for the money.
Well, it's... The biggest problem with this movie is they didn't go on vacation.
Yeah, it's not... Yeah, I don't ever go, oh, yeah, it's my Christmas vacation when I'm having... Like, it's a break, like my Christmas break, my winter break. But, like, I don't ever consider it to be a vacation.
I get that it is... the whole conceit of Clark wanting to have the perfect Norman Rockwell family vacation is great.
Yeah.
But he could have had that expectation of, going to bringing everybody to their childhood home, to his grandparents' home, or they were going to this cabin for everybody to go to. Yeah. And then it's just because it's the destination, it's the journey that is so funny.
Right.
And yeah, we had all these great characters that came here. Yeah. But it didn't add anything. It was just gag after gag after gag. Yeah. Everybody had a gag, and everybody had a, Hickey had he smokes cigars,
stogies, and his hair.
Eddie had the toilet. Everybody was kind of, how do I put it? Everybody was a tool for a gag.
Yeah.
It was there were setups. It wasn't story, it was setup.
Right.
It's like, okay, Eddie's filling this so we can blow the thing up at the end.
Or Ellen's parents being so mean to Clark all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, okay, it was just one note. And some of the lines were funny, and some of them were delivered well, but, like, yeah.
But it's just, it didn't have the heart of the first movie. It didn't have the heart that you desperately need in these movies. It had heart. I'm not saying it didn't. But it just was lazy. The end was lazy with, they kidnapped the guy, and then it's like, all right, I was a jerk.
I learned my lesson.
That was quick. You were kidnapped from your home.
Yeah.
And, so I just think they didn't earn.
No, I don't disagree.
But again, not every movie, look, I put this in the same kind of classification as Scavenger Hunt, which is a funny movie with a lot of great actors doing their best.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a reason that I remember, lines and scenes more than, like, the whole movie. Like, it's just, there's certain things that stick out.
Yeah.
I don't know, Margot!
Well, they were great.
Yeah, they were great. So director Chris Columbus initially was set to direct the film, but due to Chevy Chase treating Columbus
like dirt,
Columbus left the film before they even shot anything, despite desperately needing the work.
That's how much of an a-hole Chevy Chase
literally.
is.
Chris Columbus has gone on record saying it was the stupidest decision I've ever made because I was going to get paid and then I left and I didn't.
Well, you know what? Sometimes it's better for your mental health.
Yeah.
Look, this is the beginning of Chevy Chase becoming a jerk.
Yeah.
Because I think he was seeing his star fade, and then after this movie, it really faded.
Well, I disagree. I don't think it was his star fading. I think his ego was really big at this point.
Okay.
I think he was getting a little too big for his britches.
But I think part of that too was not getting the successes that he thought he would. He wasn't having the Fletches or the foul plays anymore.
We'll talk about it because he literally did not have a hit film for like 8 years after this. Yeah.
If you're a jerk.
Yeah. Hughes eventually gave Columbus the script to Home Alone, which would make 6 times the box office of Christmas Vacation with a $10 million less budget.
It was a great movie, though.
And we'll talk about this more next week when we cover Home Alone 2. But Home Alone, the original, is still, to this day, the highest grossing live-action comedy ever made.
That movie came out of nowhere. I was in Sewickley, Pennsylvania at a friend's house for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And we all went out to go see that movie on a lark.
Yeah.
And we just rolled over laughing.
Oh, it's brilliant. It was brilliant.
Absolutely. As a fan of Looney Tunes, man,
yeah,
that was one of the greatest live-action Looney Tunes movies ever.
It is by far the best thing Chris Columbus has ever done.
And you have to give credit to Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern.
Oh, Daniel Stern, yeah.
And, of course, Macaulay Culkin. But that trio, the chemistry and just the perfection of their...
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was Bugs Bunny versus the villains. It was just brilliant.
We have covered Home Alone already, so please listen to that episode. And next week we will be doing Home Alone 2, so tune in for that.
And it also shows how much better a movie this probably would have been.
Yes.
If Chris Columbus directed.
Agreed.
Because
totally agreed.
As much as he is hit or miss for me, because he can get pretty schmaltzy at times. His wheelhouse, when he hits it, he nails it.
Agreed.
I will give him
Agreed.
that.
Chase suggested they hire George Roy Hill, who Chase had worked with on Funny Farm the previous year, stating that Hill was the best director he'd ever worked with. Unfortunately, due to Funny Farm bombing at the box office, Hill retired from directing movies and declined.
That is a shame, because Funny Farm was not a bad movie. It's one of Chevy Chase's better.
I agree. And George Roy Hill is a great director, but it did so poorly, he literally stopped working.
It's strange that movie did so poorly, because it is actually...
I remember it being funny.
The conceit is really great, too. It's just like the people hate Chevy Chase and his wife so much that they're willing to do anything to help them sell their house and get them the hell out of the town. And then they all find out that they like each other.
Yeah.
But
enemies becoming friends.
My favorite. But it's one of Chevy Chase's better movies. I mean, granted, it's like, picking corn out of poop.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, because he made some stinks.
Yeah, he did. So they then asked John Hughes himself to direct, but he declined due to still working on Post for Uncle Buck.
Oh, I love that movie, too.
Much better movie. The producers even turned to Harold Ramis, who had directed Vacation in 1983, but he had already committed to writing and starring in Ghostbusters 2.
Thank God there was no rap in this.
Oh my God.
So we didn't have to...
Yeah, listen to our last week's episode. Nope.
Is that okay?
They eventually found their director in Jeremiah S. Chechik. Chechik started as an actor but got nowhere, so he turned to directing music videos, gaining notice for directing What Is Love by Van Halen and Downtown Life by Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates.
Oh, yeah. Christmas Vacation was his first feature film. He would go on to direct Benny and June in 1993, Diabolique in 1995, and then The Avengers in 1998, which essentially ended his feature film directing career.
Benny and June was a good movie.
Again, also because of... I'm positive it was because of the cast.
Well, the cast was insanely good.
Yes, that's what I mean. They lifted the material up.
And it was a smaller movie. And as a director, I think he did pretty good with that one.
Yeah.
Diabolique was kind of a mess.
It was a remake of a French movie, and it was fine. I mean, but it just wasn't. Yeah, it was a remake.
The Avengers was just
based off of the original
TV
60s TV show, 50s 60s TV show with Uma Thurman and
Ray Fiennes.
That movie was so bad.
Yeah.
The show was
great.
I mean, there was a reason that they made it into a feature. Yeah. It just was directed very poorly.
This was also a time where every adaptation was garbage.
Yes.
It was a soulless, cash grab piece of crap.
Oh, like shortly after this was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was a good movie.
And Wild Wild West, which was an amazing show.
Yeah.
That was turned into garbage.
Bad. Yeah.
It just was a time. They were taking every TV show that we loved and turning it into a piece of garbage.
Into garbage.
It was just a package thing. It was like Mad Libs.
Right.
Let's take this actor, that actor, this director, this thing, and then we'll just put together like the original Mission Impossible was a horrible, convoluted piece of crap.
Yeah. I mean, it was better than all these other movies.
I don't really. If you watch it again, I don't think you would think so.
I'd see all I can remember is the end and the him on the train and it coming right. That's literally all I remember.
It's amazing to me that they made 8 more. It just goes to show you how popular Tom Cruise is because that movie was just as. If you go back and watch it,
it's very convoluted.
It is awful.
I mean, they're all really convoluted, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Chechik would eventually find his footing in directing TV. He directed things such as
The Bronx is Burning, The Middleman, Leverage, The Good Guys, Gossip Girl, Warehouse 13, Burn Notice, Chuck, Rain, Helix, Rogue, and Reginald the Vampire.
Yeah. So he directed some pretty good shows like
really
Chuck
good
and
shows.
Burn Notice.
I loved Warehouse 13. I think that was a really underrated sci-fi show.
I agree. And I actually really liked The Middleman. It was that weird ABC Family show with Shane She was a superhero, and I don't remember her name.
I don't think I saw that.
It was not very. It was more aimed towards like tweens, but the show was it was based off a comic. It was done really well.
Burn Notice is one of my favorite shows.
Burn Notice was phenomenal.
Donovan and Ray, not Ray Donovan. That's the name.
No, not Ray Donovan.
Something Donovan.
Donovan? No.
Great actor.
Jeff Donovan.
Who has turned into such an amazing character actor.
He is.
And Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
And
it was a great show.
A really fun show.
Yeah.
Being a spy is all about. It was just that great, like. He explained everything.
It was very neo-noirish and like, but set in Miami, and like it was beautiful.
Stylized.
There was a point during some very long, like 5-day long heat
wave.
Heat wave, thank you. Heat wave that we had, and I didn't have AC, and I literally sat in a tunnel of fans and watched like 4 seasons of Burn Notice. Like I just laid on the floor on my computer and watched Burn Notice for like 4 or 5 days straight.
That needs a rewatch.
It does. I never finished it. I never finished the last few seasons.
It was so good. I missed that show. I'm going to rewatch that show.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Good. So, casting, obviously, Chevy Chase was cast as Clark W. Sparky Griswold Jr.
Sparky!
After European vacation, Chase was in Three Amigos in 1986, which didn't do as well in the box office as it should have.
Listen to our Three Amigos show.
Yeah, such a good movie.
Amazing movie. And
to me, it's a perfect movie.
And not only a perfect movie, but brought together the greatest couple in the history of coupledom.
Yes, that's true.
Steve Martin Short.
True. I just saw recently that they were doing a show, and it was the last time they were touring together. And Chevy Chase was there, and they like pointed him out in the crowd, and like, you know, it was like, okay, and then they went down, and he looked so awkward. Like Chevy Chase looked like he realized how much he had effed up everything, and like they were trying to be so nice to him, and he's just sitting there like he looked so old. He was just like, like okay, it was weird.
Well, they had a good time. I mean, and he enjoyed that. I think also Chevy does better when he's around comedians, and when he's in part of an ensemble of peers.
Yeah.
When it's him carrying the movie, I think he gets insecure, and that's where he lashes out because he's scared, you know?
Right.
And he's had bombs, so he's nervous about that.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the psychology of him is just comes from
insecurity.
Yeah, just like most. Oh, I should be a psychologist with my revelations. Write a book.
He then did Funny Farm in 1988, which was seen as a box office disappointment. It actually didn't lose money,
right?
But it did not do as well as they wanted it to.
It was the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah,
because that was a decent movie, but it was also kind of the beginning of the end of those type of comedies.
Yeah.
You know, people were moving on to, you know, we were getting kind of close to the gross out.
Yeah, and the original comedies, like they were doing a lot more adaptations, and like this started the beginning of the 90s that ended with stuff like The Avengers in 98. Right. Like it was like, oh, we can go back and do, you know, an adaptation of Dragnet, you know, and like stuff like that. Like it was But
we're also kind of, you know, the Farrelly brothers were just around the corner a couple years. And that changed comedy.
No, that did. That
for
totally
the entire
did.
decade.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. He was then in Fletch Lives, which was released in March of 1989, the sequel to Fletch, but was lambasted by the critics and made almost $40 million from an $8 million budget.
That was one of the worst sequels I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The original Fletch is such a great movie.
Yeah.
Such a great, one of the best comedies, one of his best movies ever.
Yeah.
And just, it really captured the feeling of the Fletch novels.
Yeah.
And this was just, they leaned into the disguises and the goofiness, and it didn't have the gravitas of the original.
Didn't have the heart. Yeah.
And it didn't have the smarts and the intelligence. It was just, they tried to gear it towards another, Chevy Chase bumbling boob movie. And that's
Fumble, don't bumble.
Yeah, and they fumbled the F out of this one. They bumbled and fumbled.
They bumbled it all. Lord, it was not good. In 1987, his Cornelius Productions company had set up a non-exclusive, albeit first refusal deal with Warner Brothers in order to develop 4 feature projects at the studio and a 5th project set up at Universal Pictures. At the height of his career in the late 1980s, Chase earned around $7 million per film and was a highly visible celebrity. He appeared alongside Paul Simon, one of his best friends, in Simon's 1986 second video for You Can Call Me Al, in which he lip syncs all of Simon's lyrics. It's a great video.
Oh, it's one of the best videos ever.
It's great.
And if any of you are fans of Supernatural, Jensen Ackles, who was on, I think that's how you say his name, who's also on The Boys, is
Yeah.
Whatever.
Combat King or whatever.
Sure. He and his wife did a shot-for-shot remake of this video where his wife plays the Chevy Chase part and he plays the Paul Simon part. If you're a fan of him, watch it. It's
funny.
So well done. And it's just like, they just did it.
Yeah, I think it was during lockdown, and they were just kind of like, we're bored.
Let's completely, absolutely remake this.
Yeah.
I mean, the sets, everything.
Yeah.
It was pretty spectacular. But it's a really fun music video. That was back when they would have these, weird, like the "Don't Worry, Be Happy." Had Robin Williams.
Chase hosted the Academy Awards in 1987 and 88, opening the telecast in 1988 with the quip,
"Good evening, Hollywood phonies."
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm sure that really ingratiated him a lot to some people.
He ingratiated me.
Of course. Of course. You were in your asshole phase at this point.
Yeah. He wasn't wrong.
During the lights not working scene where Clark destroys the plastic lawn ornaments, Chevy Chase actually broke his pinky finger while punching Santa Claus.
Ouch!
Yeah, he resorts to kicking and clubbing the decorations after that. The film kept rolling, and they used the take.
Hey, you got to give him credit for not breaking.
No, he just kept, I'm sure probably pissed him off more.
Sure, but it's like if I broke my pinky, I'd be like, "Hot, got my pinky!"
Yeah.
Give me an ambulance.
It appeared that Chase was on top of the world, but sadly this would not last. His next 3 movies were flops. Nothing But Trouble in 1991.
Good Lord. I can't wait for us to cover that movie. That is one of the weirdest, worst movies ever made.
It is so bizarre, and I have not seen it in probably 20 years.
Oh,
so
me too. Not since it came out.
Oh, it's so weird.
There was no reason to rewatch that movie.
No. Memoirs of an Invisible Man in 1992.
Such a misstep. I think
I liked that movie more than I probably should have.
Well,
but I was obsessed with the Invisible Man.
Sure.
So I think that was more to do with it.
It just was, again, the tone was off.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do. He had such a problem with tone, and I think a lot of people just didn't know what to do with Chevy.
Yeah. And then Cops and Robertsons in 1994, which I believe, wasn't that with Jack Palance? Was that Jack Palance? Yeah.
Jack Palance. Yeah. And Farrah Fawcett.
Such a not good movie.
Well, isn't it that he has to move in with Farrah Fawcett and her son and pretend to be their
something
dad?
Because they're doing like surveillance on the neighbors or something.
So he has to move in with the family and pretend to be part of the family, and then they fall in love. It's just so convoluted and stupid.
All 3 of those movies together garnered $34 million in box office. Total.
More than they deserved.
All 3.
More than they deserved.
That was a lot of money spent on those movies that did not get earned back.
No.
Pretty much all of his movies after Christmas Vacation never gained the box office numbers that his 80s movies did. And he can most recently be seen in The Christmas Letter, co-starring Brian Posehn, Brian Doyle-Murray, and Randy Quaid.
Okay, well, I like Brian Posehn and Brian Doyle-Murray.
I guarantee you that The Christmas Letter is not a good movie.
What is it on? Is it streaming?
I don't think it's... I think it's streaming somewhere. I don't know where. Beverly D'Angelo was cast again, reprised her role as Ellen Griswold.
Love her.
She's so good. After gaining a minor role in Annie Hall in 1977, D'Angelo appeared in a string of hit films in the late 1970s, including Every Which Way But Loose, Hair, and Coal Miner's Daughter.
Great. And I think her first film role was in the movie adaptation of Hair.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
She was including Every Which Way But Loose, Hair, and Coal Miner's Daughter.
She was also in Hair.
Yeah. I think it was her first movie.
That was such a bad adaptation of that play.
Yeah. Coal Miner's Daughter earned her a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actress for her performance as Patsy Cline.
She was great. That movie was great. Sissy Spacek, I think, won the Academy Award for that, or at least was nominated.
She was definitely nominated. I don't remember if she won. D'Angelo actually won a Country Music Association Award for Album of the Year for Coal Miner's Daughter.
She had a wonderful, smoky voice.
Oh, yeah. In 1986, she was in Big Trouble, John Cassavetes' last film. It starred Peter Falk and Alan Arkin.
Yeah, it was a weird one for him. It was more of a comedy.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see that again. John Cassavetes, I was turned on to in college by a professor who was obsessed with him, Professor Carney. And as soon as I saw his first film, fell in love. He was my goal, because he was a one for them, one for him guy.
Right.
He would take any, as you can see by his career, Cassavetes would take any acting role they offered him, because he would take the money.
He wanted to make his own movies.
Grab his buddies and make these incredible, incredible independent films.
God, it's like Crispin Glover, except Crispin Glover made incredibly weird bad movies.
Well, yeah. different.
Yeah. I do not know John Cassavetes well enough. I have a big blank spot in film history with John Cassavetes, so I need to go in and review.
I think you would really enjoy. The one I would say stay away from is The Killing of a Chinese Bookie. It's just I need to rewatch it because it's the one I like the least.
Okay.
But definitely Faces, Woman on the Verge, Shadow.
Well, he works with some of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm sure I've probably seen something, but
Jenna Rollins, it was his wife, an incredible actor, and she was usually the star. Seymour Cassell was a mainstay. Minnie Moskowitz with the two of them you would love that movie. And then Peter Falk.
Yeah, Peter Falk, because I love Peter Falk.
Was his best friend, and they would
huge talent crush.
But man, if you want to see some great actors doing insane performances that you don't normally see, Cassavetes.
Okay.
And if you want to see like the dawn of independent cinema, he is the grandfather of independent cinema.
Right.
The shots, the way he does it, the cinema verite.
Yeah.
He started the whole damn thing, and he's the master. The master.
In 1987, D'Angelo appeared in 3 movies. In the Mood, co-starring Patrick Dempsey as the Woo-Woo Kid.
Yeah, that was when Patrick Dempsey was the boy lover of every older woman.
The young hot boy. Aria, a series of 10 short films based on operatic arias, co-starring with Buck Henry.
That was such an interesting film.
I've never heard of it before, and I thought it was really, because there's almost no dialogue through all of the shorts. It's just kind of the opera and stuff, but she's like realizing that he's cheating on her or she's cheating on him or something. But it just sounded fascinating.
Oh, the whole movie was fascinating. I remember it coming out. It didn't do that great.
No.
Because it was so experimental. But I remember seeing it in the theater and just being like, damn, this is really impressive.
Okay, that's interesting. She was also in Made to Order, co-starring Ali Sheedy, with D'Angelo playing the antagonist. The first time that she played the bad guy. Quote-unquote bad guy.
Yeah, that was...
That
was when they didn't know what to do with Ali. Poor Ali Sheedy.
Poor Ali Sheedy. In 1988, D'Angelo was in Trading Hearts with Raul Julia, which had a limited release. And High Spirits, written and directed by Neil Jordan, co-starring Steve Guttenberg, Daryl Hannah, Liam Neeson, and Peter O'Toole.
Yeah, Daryl Hannah was a ghost, I believe.
You would think that with that cast and that writer and director, the movie would be remembered more, but it is not.
Because it was so bad.
It was
not a good movie.
No. D'Angelo moved into indies and doing a lot of TV and TV movies through the 90s and 2000s. She'll next be seen in No Address, co-starring William Baldwin, Ashanti, Xander Berkeley, and Ty Pennington.
I love Xander Berkeley.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite character actors.
Isn't Ty Pennington? Oh, no. You know who Ty Pennington is?
Yeah, he's from that stupid...
He's that remake show guy.
Yeah.
I always think of Ty Burrell whenever I hear Ty Pennington.
Well, look, except for Xander Berkeley, this is not the greatest cast.
No. Juliette Lewis was cast as Audrey Griswold's third person to play it. She was previously played by Dana Barron in the original Vacation and Dana Hill in European Vacation.
They were trying to get Dana Plato for this one, but to get the trifecta of Danas. But she was busy.
They actually included a writer in Juliette Lewis's contract that she had to change her name to Dana, but her lawyer caught it at the last second and they struck it out.
Nice.
Juliette Lewis is the daughter of Jeffrey Lewis, the actor who appeared in the Lethal Weapon films and a ton of others.
If you saw his face, you would know exactly.
Oh yeah.
Who he is, and when you look at him,
this is the funny thing is that I never connect the two, and it's so obvious.
Oh yeah. And he's kind of, guy talks like this.
He's a great actor. He played authority figures. He eventually got into playing corrupt authority figures, and
he was in tons of Clint Eastwood movies. He just was that guy.
Yeah, he's a very
always playing cops,
recognizable character actor. Yeah. After working on a feature in 1987 and a TV show for the 87-88 TV season, at the age of 14, Juliette Lewis was legally emancipated from her parents with their approval, enabling her to work more freely.
This is effed up.
It's so weird. Weird. She later recalled,
I know that sounds all radical, but when you start acting when you're younger, you talk to other actor kids and their moms, and they're like, yeah, if you want to get a job... They're like, your resume has to say emancipated minor versus minor because you can then work longer hours.
Essentially, emancipation, if you can
exploit them,
is that you're essentially treated like an adult, even though you're not.
Yeah.
So that the labor laws don't apply to you anymore.
Yeah. Which I get for like teenage actors. That makes sense.
At 14, and Jeffrey Lewis, her father, by that point, had been in the business for a long time. So he was like.
Her mom, too, I think.
Yeah. Oh, probably. Yeah.
It was a family business.
Yeah.
And they were just doing what was best for her career. They didn't, it wasn't like an abuse, like a Macaulay Culkin thing.
There was a moment where Jeffrey Lewis and his wife were like, yeah, she's better than both of us. We should probably just let her go. Let her go.
But that's just how effed up this stupid business is.
It is.
You have to emancipate yourself from your family if you want to get the roles, because if you're not exploitable, then we don't want you.
She had a minor role in My Stepmother's an Alien in 1988 before landing Christmas Vacation, her first major supporting role.
Yeah.
I just love the opening. The first time you really see her is when they're out there, like ready to chop the tree down. And Beverly D'Angelo's is like, she would react, but her face is frozen.
Her eyes are frozen, Clark. She can't blink.
In 1989, Lewis was arrested at age 16 for entering a bar unlawfully, later being charged with underage drinking.
Well, how many of us were there? I mean, not there.
I didn't do that. But,
I had a fake ID.
Oh, I didn't do a fake ID. I didn't care. I was too busy being nerdy.
Yeah, we used to go to Tijuana every weekend to drink.
Oh, wow.
Because you only needed an 18 fake ID at 16.
Wow. Lewis garnered international attention when she beat out 500 other actresses to play Danielle Bowden, the daughter of a family targeted by psychopathic criminal Max Cady in Martin Scorsese's 1991 remake of 1962's Cape Fear.
I remember everybody's like, why is he remaking that movie? Scorsese's doing a remake? Yeah, it's going to be stupid. And then we're all wrong.
So wrong.
Such a good movie. Oh, my God.
She would be nominated for an Academy Award for her performance, but lost to Mercedes Ruehl for The Fisher King.
That is literally one of the most uncomfortable performances.
Yeah. She's so
good. Her and De Niro.
Yeah.
The chemistry between them, a 50-year-old man and a 14-year-old girl.
It's so creepy.
It makes you feel gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just...
It's a hard watch.
Oh, my God. That's how good it is.
Yeah,
when it's that hard to watch, it's just incredibly good. Oh.
Lewis was born into Scientology and started practicing it in the 1990s. Okay. Meaning that Jeffrey Lewis is a Scientologist. She created Scientology's Narconon program for helping her rehabilitate after a years-long addiction to cocaine and prescription medication in her early adult years. And I did not know that Narconon was a Scientology front group.
Oh, my God. So much is a Scientology
I went down a rabbit hole, and I wish I hadn't.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. I had no idea. I just thought Narconon was it's this great program to help people. No. They're assholes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just, look, I don't have a problem with anybody's belief system or whatever, but Scientology has some wacko theories on psychology.
And, stuff that actively hurts people.
Children. Actively hurts children. And that's, any organization that hurts children does not get my stamp of approval. I'm looking at you, Catholics.
I will say, though, out of all the Scientologists I've met, I worked with somebody on a TV show, and she was born into it, much like Juliette Lewis. She was a second-generation Scientologist. I had no idea she was a Scientologist until the Tom Cruise jumping on the couch thing, and we were all making fun of it, and someone pulled us aside and was like, you know your boss is a Scientologist. We were like, nope. And then I was so interested to talk to her about it, but I couldn't because then I would sound like I wanted to be a Scientologist, and I didn't. But she was so nice. Never brought it up, never talked about it. She was so nice.
Yeah.
But it was it's like anything else. People that join it have to prove that they're the best Scientologist ever and talk about it all the time. And
the belief system, and it is no more strange than any other religion to me.
No.
They all have a set of beliefs that require a certain amount of faith to embrace.
You describe Catholicism as literally eating your God.
Yeah.
It sounds weird.
It does sound weird. And, Scientology, you get your own planet.
Yay!
Once you get rid of all your thetons.
Yeah.
But that's enough of Scientology. We don't want them coming after us.
Nope. I was just surprised about Narconon, that's all.
Yeah, no, it's crazy if you look at all the fronts.
Right.
And all the weird little things.
They've got their fingers in everything.
You walk down Vine or Hollywood Boulevard, and every third or fourth storefront is some sort of Scientology
crazy.
thing. Yeah.
Crazy.
Don't go to the Museum of Psychiatry.
No, God, don't. By 2021, Juliette Lewis began to distance herself from Scientology, telling the New York Times and the Washington Post that she is a spiritualist and does not identify as a Scientologist anymore. So Yeah. Lewis has appeared in a ton of edgy thrillers like California with Brad Pitt, Natural Born Killers with Woody Harrelson, and From Dusk Till Dawn with George Clooney.
All great.
Fantastic movies. Lewis continues to work constantly with 3 projects coming up. Opus, a horror movie co-starring Ayo Edebiri.
My favorite.
Edebiri, thank you. Ayo Edebiri, Amber Midthunder, and John Malkovich.
I love Amber Midthunder.
Yeah, this movie looks fantastic.
Yeah, baby.
I'm very excited.
I'm
Opus.
down.
I don't know when. I think it's coming out next year at some point. Dreamquill, a psychological thriller starring John C. Reilly and Elizabeth Banks, and co-written, produced, and directed by Alex Prager in her feature-length debut.
Sounds great.
The Trip, psychological thriller film directed by Jorma Taccone from a screenplay by Nick Kocher and Brian McElhaney, also known as Britannic on the YouTubes.
Okay.
If you ever watch any Britannic stuff.
I don't.
It's an English-language remake of the 2021 film of the same name. It co-stars Jason Segel, Samara Weaving, Timothy Olyphant, Paul Guilfoyle, and Keith Jardine.
Great cast. The last thing that I saw her in was I saw the first season of Yellow Jackets.
Oh, that's right. She was in that. I need to watch that.
She was remarkable. I mean, she still looks the same.
She still looks
doesn't
14.
Matter.
Yeah.
But she's one of my favorite actresses. I really feel like she's. I know I'm a broken record.
Yeah.
But I truly feel that she is woefully underrated.
Yeah.
In terms of her talent, because people are just like, "Oh, she's a weirdo," and it's just like, so what?
Yeah, and she is, but
she is a weirdo. That's what makes her so great.
Yeah, it doesn't take away from the fact that she's good.
I have never seen her give a bad performance. No. She's one of my favorites.
Yeah, she's great. Johnny Galecki was cast as Russell Rusty Griswold. Russ was portrayed by Anthony Michael in the original Vacation and Jason Lively in European Vacation.
Poor Jason Lively, man. They actively made those kids horrible.
Oh, it was.
Wasn't his whole thing in that movie just wanted to see boobs?
Yeah, he did see boobs.
And that
saw boobs a lot. But that was it. He was such a horny little hornball.
And poor Dana Ivey or whoever.
Dana. I don't remember.
She's a great actor, but they made her so obnoxious that it ruined her career.
Yeah. Her character was I need to be with my boyfriend. It was so unforgiving. The writing was awful.
And I feel so badly for her because she was a good actor. But
yeah.
It turned me off forever.
Yeah. Galecki's first feature film was A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon in 1988, which was actually filmed in 1986 and was also the feature film debut of Matthew Perry.
Yeah, that was a weird movie about River Phoenix.
Yeah, River Phoenix and Magnuson, Meredith Salinger, and Ione Skye were in it. It was based off of a book called Aren't You Even Gonna Kiss Me Goodbye? The movie was so bad that the director recut the entire movie and then released it and changed the title to the original book's title, Aren't You Even Gonna Kiss Me Goodbye?
Oh, no.
Yeah. But I've heard of this, The Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon, because River Phoenix is supposed to be great in it, but
I saw it.
It's just a weird movie.
River Phoenix was great in everything, but unfortunately, River Phoenix made a lot of really bad movies.
Yeah. There was another Christmas film released in 1989, Prancer, and Johnny Galecki appeared in that as well.
There's a sequel out now.
There's a new sequel.
Prancer Blood or something.
Prancer, Dancer's Revenge.
Yes.
Yeah. Galecki found his career in the sitcom Roseanne, appearing in 94 episodes over 5 seasons in the original run and the modern 10th season before being canceled.
He was so good as Darlene's boyfriend.
He was great.
Husband.
Yeah. He would reprise the role for the Connors, appearing in 4 episodes after they canceled Roseanne. Literally canceled Roseanne.
Well, she canceled herself.
I know. I shouldn't say canceled, but yeah, she talked herself out of the job. Congrats.
And luckily, she's changed ways. And
she's great now. She's the fact that she's hosting Wheel of Fortune is fantastic.
She has just leaned into being a kook. It's not even. It's like. It's not even that offensive anymore because she's so crazy.
Yeah.
She's like a QAnon conspiracy come to life.
Yeah, I'm sure her and Randy Quaid are just hanging out together, talking about the good old days.
Oh, God.
Having lunch with RFK Jr.
Man.
Okay, anyway. But it was another sitcom that made Galecki one of the highest paid actors on TV, The Big Bang Theory. He appeared in 280 episodes of the show over its 12 seasons. I did not realize that show ran that long.
That, what is his name? the guy that created that, Chuck Lorre.
Chuck Lorre. Yeah.
Chuck Lorre, it must have signed a pact with the devil. Because he made this and 2.5 Men, right?
Yeah.
And
he made bank.
Such subpar shows.
Here's the thing. I've only seen a handful of episodes of The Big Bang Theory. Everything I've watched, I've been like, oh, okay, it's funny, and then I immediately forget about it.
Yeah.
It's like the meme of the computer printing off and it goes straight into the shredder.
Right.
Like that's how I feel after watching The Big Bang Theory.
I'll be honest. I did watch some of 2.5 Men, and it was pretty funny. And John Cryer, when the kid was little, Agnes or whatever his Magnus Magnuson. Yeah. Before he went off the deep end, but it was a fun little show. And look, Charlie Sheen was really talented, amazing actor before his personality overcame his
Or he joined
talent.
the Roseanne Randy Quaid Club.
Good Lord. Well, no, he was just more of gross.
I know.
He was just kind of like...
Yeah, he didn't... Yeah.
You know, the tiger's blood...
Yeah.
Era of him was just, overshadowed. But, people forget. He was great in Platoon. He was great in the Hot Shot movies. He was a really talented dude. Wall Street.
There is a market for these kind of shows. According to Jim ran forever. Like the one King of Queens ran forever. Like there's a market for these shows.
Because they're comfort food, Adam. You know exactly what you're going to get every single episode. It's never going to challenge you. It's never going to make you think or have to, confront yourself with your beliefs. Right. You just get to watch. If you're watching 2.5 Men, you get to watch one of the brothers get laid and one of the brothers not get laid. And if you're watching Big Bang Theory, you just watch nerds being nerds, and then
nerds being mean to each other, and then more. At some point, I am going to sit down and do an entire watch of The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah,
because I am curious.
I did not. I watched it for a couple of seasons, but it was the same exact thing as 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
I didn't care if I missed it.
Right.
It didn't matter if I missed it.
I didn't care that I missed it so much that I just literally stopped watching it.
That's the thing. It just kind of floats in and out of your life, and it's not something that you really, care that much about.
Yeah. Amazingly, his role in The Big Bang Theory earned Galecki approximately $900,000 per episode between 2017 and 2019.
Good Lord.
In 2018, he was estimated to be the world's second highest paid male TV actor by Forbes, behind only his Big Bang Theory co-star Jim Parsons, earning $25 million.
For the season?
For the season, yeah.
Parsons or Galecki?
Galecki. Wow. Parsons earned more than that.
Good Lord.
Parsons was the man on that show.
That's so bizarre to me.
His character was so bazinga. Yeah. It's weird. I know.
Ooh, I'm strange.
Galecki hasn't appeared in anything since The Conners in 2019.
Why would he?
He has apparently a ranch out in like the hills. The King Fire destroyed most of his property.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was bad in like 2021 or something. But I think he's just not working as much. I'm not going to say he's retired, but I think he's more selective because he's got a shit ton of money now.
He's enjoying his life. Yeah. Why not? I mean, the guy has been working since he was a kid.
I'm pretty sure he's gotten remarried. He just got remarried recently. He just had another young kid, so he's got a couple kids under 5. So he's just enjoying his life.
Yeah, look, the guy has been working for 40 years.
Yeah.
So
he's earned it. He's earned his career.
Most people who work 40 years retire.
They should, yeah.
And it's nice when you can retire with probably $380 million under your belt.
I really like Johnny Galecki. I actually worked with him on a pilot once.
Oh, wow.
Many moons ago. I think it was right before The Big Bang Theory started. He was a really nice guy. Super nice guy.
I met him. I've told the Roseanne birthday party story.
Oh, yeah.
But he was super nice kid.
Yeah.
Really nice. We talked for a few minutes. The guy has consistently done good work since he was just a baby boy.
Yeah, and he's great in this movie. I love that he does the Chevy Chase bit where he looks at his watch that's not there and walks away.
Yeah.
And
look at the time.
Oh, look at the time. I got so much to do. Got to do my homework. Got to wash the dog. John Randolph was cast as Clark Griswold Sr., Clark's father.
Oh, such a great character actor.
Yeah. Randolph had a small role in the 1980 film noir Naked City. He and wife Sarah Cunningham were blacklisted from working in Hollywood films and in New York film and television and radio after 1948. In 1955, they were both called before the House Un-American Activities Committee to testify concerning ongoing investigations regarding communist infiltration in the American entertainment industry. John Randolph and his wife refused to answer questions and cited the Fifth Amendment protection against testifying against themselves.
Exactly, or their friends. And they did not name names.
They did not name names.
And you can tell who didn't name names by the people that were blacklisted.
Yeah. Randolph was one of the last blacklisted actors to regain employment in Hollywood when director John Frankenheimer cast him in a major role in Seconds in 1966.
Frankenheimer grabbed a lot of these blacklisted actors and writers. That was the great thing, is some of these filmmakers were like, F this, we're bringing you all out.
Why not? Yeah.
Of the, bringing you out of the cold and into the sun.
Dark in the sun, yeah.
Because they realized how disgusting it was. I mean, it was just, it was a literal witch hunt.
Yeah.
For no purpose other than to publicly shame people and make them afraid of, don't you ever go against America.
The communism boogeyman. Yeah.
Nothing spells freedom like communist tribunals.
Yeah, can't wait for that to happen again. Randolph made up for lost time in the 70s and 80s working on a ton of projects. In film, he did
Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, Topper Returns, Serpico, Earthquake, All the President's Men, King Kong, Heaven Can Wait, Lovely but Deadly, Francis, and Prizzi's Anna.
On TV, he worked on
Night Gallery, The Rookies, Bonanza, All in the Family, Young Dr. Kildare, Mannix, Police Story, Columbo, Kojak, Macmillan and Wife, Lucas Tanner, The Bob Newhart Show, Executive Suite, Lou Grant, Richie Brockerman, Private Eye, Lucan, Vegas, MASH, Dallas, Angie, Private Benjamin, Family Ties, Quincy M.E., Dynasty, The Facts of Life, The Paper Chase, Trabba, John M.D., Who's the Boss, The Equalizer, Roseanne, Grand, and Married with Children.
Yeah, he worked a lot.
He was great, and he always kind of played the same guy, but he was an amazing character actor. I totally forgot about the Topper movies. Do you remember those movies?
No.
About the ghosts?
No,
Topper was like a ghost. It was so weird.
Okay.
There were these, like, franchise movies of the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
That I totally forgot existed until you mentioned
They've got like 10 movies, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. That was a thing.
Oh, the Topper series was incredibly popular.
Yeah. In 1993, Randolph appeared in the 4th season of Seinfeld as the first actor to play George Costanza's father, Frank Costanza.
Yeah.
In the following season, Randolph was replaced in this role by Jerry Stiller.
Yeah.
He only appeared for one episode, I believe.
Both the fathers were replaced. There was a different actor that played Jerry's father as well.
It's weird, though, because I honestly thought that Jerry Stiller was in way earlier in that show.
So did I.
Like, 5th season, that seems late.
Really does.
Yeah, he was so good in that show. His final film role, John Randolph, was in a movie called Numb, which had no recognizable actors in it. On February 24th, 2004, Randolph died at his home in Hollywood of natural causes at the age of 88.
Okay, natural causes. Like to hear that.
Yeah.
Just die in his sleep,
Go
probably.
to sleep, and then you're done. Yeah.
You earned it, sweet man.
Yeah.
Good night, sweet boy.
Diane Ladd was cast as Nora Griswold, Clark's mother.
I love her so much.
She's so good. Ladd has appeared in over 200 films and television shows. I'm not going to make Jim name all of them.
Damn it. I practiced them all.
She received 3 Academy Award nominations for Best Supporting Actress for her roles in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore in 1974, losing to Ingrid Bergman for Murder on the Orient Express.
That was a tough category that year.
Oh, yeah. Wild at Heart in 1990, losing to Whoopi Goldberg for Ghost.
Where she starred with her daughter.
Yes.
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern, yeah.
And I think her father, Bruce Dern, was in that as well.
Oh, yeah. Actually, now that you say that, I think you're right. Rambling Rose in 1991, losing to Mercedes Ruehl for The Fisher King.
She was so great as Clark's mom. And the one thing that I did notice that they did do right was the parents, because Clark's parents are so sweet and kind and supportive. So you know why Clark has this Pollyanna attitude towards everything, because he grew up in this perfect... You know, his parents making a perfect life for him. He's an only child.
Yeah.
It seems, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as we know. Yeah.
And then you see Ellen's parents, and her parents are kind of jerks. So you could see her kind of tough edge where it came from and her no-nonsense. So that was really well done, I thought.
They were cast very well.
And I think the writing was done well for that.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Those relationships were written very well. Diane Ladd's first role was in Wild Angels in 1966, a Roger Corman biker movie.
Oh, yeah.
She also appeared in Chinatown in 1974 and Something Wicked This Way Comes in 1983.
Something Wicked This Way Comes with Jason Robards. I need to see that movie again because I have visions of it.
Yeah.
And I have no recollection of anything that it was about rather than Jason Robards was coming.
Right. I just know Jason Robards, and it's a great title. Beyond
coming
that,
on the wind, baby. Yeah. The wicked. Something was on this wicked wind, and I need to see it again.
She appeared in 22 episodes of Alice in 1980, based on Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. The character she played in the movie was played by a different actress, but when that actor left, they brought Ladd in as a different character.
First of all, the fact that the sitcom Alice was based on a Martin Scorsese movie is
it's
bizarre.
Weird.
That they made a sitcom from a Martin... It just shows you how great the 70s was.
So Ladd has appeared in a ton of movies, TV movies, and was nominated for 3 Primetime Emmy Awards for Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, Grace Under Fire, and Touched by an Angel. It's funny because Diane Ladd, playing Chevy Chase's mother in this, I'm pretty sure she was only like 5 years older than him.
Yeah.
Like, she was definitely not the old lady that they portrayed her to be.
No, but I mean, they dowdied her up pretty well.
Yeah. She most recently can be seen in the 2022 film Gigi and Nate about monkeys being paired with disabled people.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like she's still working.
Yeah, she's still around. She's still doing stuff. E.G. Marshall was cast as Arthur Art Smith, Ellen's father.
Oh, such a great character actor.
He's such an asshole in this movie.
Well, he's not a big comedy guy.
No.
So to see him, watching him in all these, 40s and 50s movies, playing such a serious actor, E.G. Marshall, but he was brilliant in this.
Oh, yeah, he was great. He started as a Broadway actor and was in the first group of the Actors Studio in 1947, which also included Marlon Brando and Montgomery Clift. He was most well known in film for being Juror Number 4 in 12 Angry Men in 1957.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That is probably the best adaptation of that play.
Phenomenal. Such a good movie. Later, he played the president in Superman 2 in 1980.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Marshall achieved perhaps his highest profile as top-billed star of the CBS TV legal drama The Defenders from 1961 to 1965.
Yep.
He portrayed Manhattan defense attorney Lawrence Preston, for which he won 2 Emmys.
Very well deserved.
His last performances were to reprise the role of Preston in 2 TV movies for The Defenders in 1997 and 1998.
Cool. I missed the whole Defenders.
Yeah. Marshall died of lung cancer in his home in Bedford, New York on August 24th, 1998 at the age of 84.
Oh.
He literally worked up to the end.
Well, good for him. Yeah. But man, lung cancer.
Lung cancer sucks.
Awful way to go.
Doris Roberts was cast as Frances Smith, Ellen's mother. Roberts started in TV, first appearing on Studio One before landing roles in
The Naked City, Way Out, Ben Casey, and The Defenders.
In 1961, she made her film debut in Something Wild, the neo-noir psychological thriller.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of this? I went down a weird rabbit hole with this, too. It's a super weird movie, but I highly recommend it. I started watching some of it. In the 1960s and 70s, she made a ton of movies, including
A Lovely Way to Die, No Way to Treat a Lady, The Honeymoon Killers, Such Good Friends, Little Murders, The New Leaf, The Heartbreak Kid, The Taking of Pelham 123, Hester Street, and Rabbit Test.
Most people know Roberts from Everybody Loves Raymond, appearing in 210 episodes as Ray's mother from 1996 to 2005. Yet another like Big Bang Theory, Everybody Loves Raymond.
Everybody loves me. Mom, why you gotta be so
although I'm a huge Phil Rosenthal fan who created the show, but like that show, it's another one of those I need to watch at some point.
I have given probably every sitcom a little bit of love, and it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just I don't.
It falls in that category of like Big Bang Theory. It's on. If it's not, I don't see it.
It's also
that's it.
I have no use for family comedies like that.
Right.
It has no bearing on my life and no resemblance to anything I've ever lived through or ever will live through.
Right.
So I don't really connect with those kind of things. All the
but
twins.
it has a great cast.
Sure. Peter Boyle is one of my favorite actors ever.
So good.
But yeah, I mean, they're all fine. It's just that you can't watch everything.
No, I know. For her work on the series, Doris Roberts was nominated for 7 Emmy Awards and won 4 times for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series.
Deservedly so. She's brilliant.
She's so good. Sadly, she died in her sleep on April 17th, 2016, at her home in Los Angeles following a stroke at the age of 90.
Just let him be. If you make it to 90, there should be a rule.
She did die in her sleep, though, so maybe she had the stroke in her sleep, and she just...
Well, no, she had the stroke, which ruined her life, and then she died in her sleep after suffering the indignity of a stroke and living for how many years?
Miriam Flynn was cast as Katherine Johnson, Ellen's cousin. Before breaking into television, Flynn was a member of the Second City Improv Troupe in 1975.
Oh, you could tell. She's just got that insta comedy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
She was one of those actors that would just show up and quietly be perfection.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
She didn't take any attention away. She just slipped in and fit so perfectly into whatever she was doing. She's one of those actors that are so good that you don't really realize that they're there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. She appeared on stage alongside
Shelley Long, George Wendt, Andrea Martin, Catherine O'Hara, and James Belushi.
Yeah, she's in some pretty good company there. Her feature debut was in First Family in 1980.
Oh, that was so good with Buck Henry.
Buck Henry,
yeah.
She then appeared in National Lampoon's Class Reunion in 1992. She has played Cousin Catherine in all 4 of the Vacation movies.
Yeah.
Flynn would take over the voice role of Grandma Longneck in the Land Before Time series, starting with number 8, The Big Freeze in 2001, and ending with number 14, Journey of the Brave in 2016.
Yeah, I think Journey of the Brave is probably the best of the Land Before Time movies. You know, when she took over, she really made the part of road.
There was a large gap between 8 to 13 took place between 2001 and 2006. And then there was like 10 years off, and they came roaring back.
Oh, yeah.
With number 14.
Literally roaring back as dinosaurs.
I just can't believe there's been 14 of those movies.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't the first one with John Goodman?
Probably.
As like the Brontosaurus or no, he was the T-Rex, I think.
Yeah. Flynn has appeared on dozens of TV shows, most recently on The Lincoln Lawyer and Shrinking.
The Lincoln Lawyer is a really good show.
Yeah.
Really good show.
So is Shrinking.
Oh my God, Shrinking's better. But they're both great shows.
Good shows, yeah.
I was I had seen the Lincoln Lawyer movie, which I did not like.
Yeah.
But it's by the same guy who wrote Bosch.
Right.
And Bosch and the Lincoln Lawyer are cousins. They're related.
Oh, really?
Somehow. Yeah.
They're in their shared universe.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And the guy that plays the Lincoln Lawyer, I forget the name of the actor, but he is really good.
Oh, yeah?
And I can't recommend the show enough.
Okay.
It snuck up on me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll check it out. And it
just surprised you?
Yeah.
Okay.
There were some really great actors in it.
Randy Quaid was cast as Eddie Johnson, Catherine's husband. Quaid has appeared in 4 Vacation movies as Cousin Eddie, one of which we'll discuss later. Despite being nominated for an Oscar and an Emmy, Quaid has become an unstable vagabond and doesn't work much. We talk about him in the Independence Day episode, so give that a listen, as I'm really not going to talk about him again because it makes me feel gross.
It breaks my heart because he is such a good actor.
He's very talented.
And if you see him in the Last Picture Show where he started, I mean, the guy was really good. It just goes to show you that people, when they're not granted, they lose their marbles. Both the Quaids have kind of disappointed me.
Yeah.
They haven't turned.
It's really too bad. I like Dennis Quaid a lot, but
I did too.
He is just gone.
Yeah.
Not quite as crazy as his brother, but
but he's gone to the dark side.
He playing Reagan, man. F's you up.
Although he looks in the substance, he looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait to see that
Yeah,
performance.
same,
It's just
same.
he's still. It's not like he's
Bad.
Robert Davi,
Yeah.
who's just turned into doing crap.
Yeah.
He's still, a respected good actor
Right,
who's
right.
putting in good work. It makes me confused.
Cody Berger was cast as Rocky Johnson, the son of Eddie and Catherine, who has a lip fungus that wasn't identified yet.
He's such a cute kid.
He looks like a little hillbilly rocker.
He really does. He looks like a young serial killer. Let's be honest. He looks like a young John Wayne Gacy.
He does, actually. He could have played John Wayne Gacy as a child.
But he's just got the way his mouth and his eyes droop. He's just got that hang dong. Gross.
Hang dog?
Excuse me. Hang dog, sad sacky look.
Right.
That just is so perfect for the
He was
part.
great, yeah.
Well, I don't think he says a word, does he?
No, I don't think he has one line in the entire thing. He had bit parts in Forever Young in 1982 and Heavyweights in 1995.
Heavyweights is a weird movie,
It's a
man.
super weird movie.
Bunch of fat kids at a fat camp.
Cody Berger then started attending Florida State University after Heavyweights in 1985 and has made no announcements of a return to acting. He currently works as a senior network engineer and resides in Tallahassee, Florida.
Good for him. So many of these kids got out of the business, and
Yeah.
smartly so. I mean, the transition from child actor to adult actor is extremely difficult because, we usually, it ends during puberty when they're not as cute as they were.
Yeah.
And back then, the way that they disposed of child actors was disgusting.
It was gross.
That's why we have so much drug addiction. And
Right.
so many horrible, horrible, sad stories of these kids.
Ellen Hamilton Latson as Ruby Sue Johnson, the daughter of Catherine and Eddie, who was formerly cross-eyed.
Well, you fall down the well, you get cross-eyed, you get kicked in the mule, and you get on cross-eyed. Her little scene with Chevy Chase, when she's like, that's bogus, I don't think. And her little way of talking. She was just great.
She was fantastic.
Cute.
In 1986, Ellen's mother read an article in the paper about an open casting call for a new untitled Adrian Lynn film. They were looking for girls ages 6 to 8, and prior acting experience wasn't required. Ellen's family had never considered getting her into the business, but she was just about 6 at the time, and it sounded like a fun thing to try. She competed against over 1,000 other girls, and despite not having the look, Ellen's natural talent won her the part of Michael Douglas and Ann Archer's daughter in Fatal Attraction.
Listen to our Fatal Attraction episode. I forgot she was in that.
Yeah. At age 15, Ellen left her hometown in New York for boarding school in Vermont, which inadvertently ended her career.
Okay.
After graduation, she decided to keep the door closed on her acting and pursue a normal life. She now lives in eastern Pennsylvania and is expecting her first child.
Awesome. Good for her.
Yeah. She also has a podcast she does talking about child actors and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we talk more about her in Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure we've now covered 2 of the 3 movies she was in.
Great.
Her entire career.
Well, we got to get the third one.
William Hickey was cast as Uncle Lewis, Clark's uncle.
William Hickey. Clark.
Hickey is best known for his Academy Award-nominated role as Don Corrado Prizzi in the John Huston film Prizzi's Honor in 1985.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
He unfortunately lost to Don Amici for Cocoon.
Well, look, Don Amici was great in Cocoon.
I know. I can't be mad about it. I love William Hickey. He was only 61 when he appeared in Christmas Vacation.
My eyes almost fell out of my head when I read that.
I thought he was 90.
He's so good in that. He and Betty. What is it, Mae Questal?
Questal. Yeah.
He and Mae Questal. It is the most realistic portrayal of an old couple I have ever seen. He's saying for you.
The pointing at the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, look.
The blessing.
The blessing.
They want you to say the blessing.
Bethany. God, it was so great. We discussed Hickey in our One Crazy Summer episode, so please give that a listen.
He was so good in One Crazy Summer. He was always good.
So funny.
But it just seemed so much of his career was playing silent guys who just talked at the end and said something poignant.
Yeah. I mean, sadly, he died from emphysema and bronchitis in 1997 at the age of 69.
Yeah. I mean, look, the guy looked like he was barely holding on at 61.
At the age of 30, he looked 70.
He did. He did. He must have smoked 40 packs of cigarettes a day, that guy.
Mae Questal was cast as Aunt Bethany, Clark's aunt. Questal was best known for providing the voices for the animated characters Betty Boop from 1931 and Olive Oil from 1933.
Popeye, oh, Popeye, oh.
She reportedly based Olive Oil? Yeah. She reportedly based Olive's nasal vocal quality and expression, oh dear, on the character actress Zazu Pitts, who appeared in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World as the elderly police dispatcher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which was Zazu Pitts' last film.
Yes.
In 1963.
And then her name was resurrected in The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, my hair. Sorry. God, no. Christmas Vacation, we made Questal's last on-screen appearance. She died on January 4th, 1998, from complications related to Alzheimer's disease at the age of 89.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she was probably starting with her dementia.
But after this, I mean, she still did Betty Boop a handful of times over the 10 years. Yeah. And in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, she played Betty Boop. Like, there was a bunch of cartoons and stuff.
Eddie, what you doing, Eddie?
She was so great. Especially singing the Pledge of Allegiance as the national anthem. It was so great.
That really was hilarious at the end when the cops and everybody joined in.
Yeah, everyone just singing.
God Bless America, whatever she was saying.
Yeah. Sam McMurray was cast as Bill, Clark's co-worker.
I love this guy.
He's so good. Great character actor. He is known for his roles as Supervisor Patrick O'Boyle in the CBS sitcom series The King of Queens, Glenn in the Coen Brothers comedy film Raising Arizona, and for voicing Roy in the sitcom Dinosaurs.
I love him in Raising Arizona. Get your goddamn hands off my wife. You crazy. You crazy.
McMurray made a ton of appearances on TV. He most recently can be seen in an episode of Law & Order, playing a judge.
He was also on the Tracy Ullman Show, and one of the original voices on The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't make him one of the regular voices when they made the show. But he did appear on several of the
shorts.
He was in most of the shorts, and he also did a lot of voices on the first couple of seasons, I believe.
Okay. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is cast as Margot Chester. Louis-Dreyfus appeared on 57 episodes of Saturday Night Live from 1982 to 1985. In 1986, she made her feature film debut in 3 movies, Troll, Hannah and Her Sisters, and Soul Man.
Well, there's a crap sandwich right there. I mean, Hannah and Her Sisters was fine. That's a Woody Allen movie.
Yeah.
But Troll, which is a guilty pleasure.
The original Troll is actually not terrible.
No, it's not. It's a good low-budget horror movie.
It's not. It's good for what it is.
But Soul Man... It was cringy back then.
Even back then, it was cringy.
C. Thomas Howell pretends to be a black man to get into Harvard on
the affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
Yeah.
Falls in love with Ray Don Chong.
Not a great take.
That movie didn't age well the week after it was released.
So obviously Julia Louis-Dreyfus is most well known for playing Elaine Bennis on 177 episodes of Seinfeld from 1990 to 1998, although she did make another successful run on The New Adventures of Old Christine, appearing in 88 episodes from 2006 to 2010.
I completely forget that series exists. I watched that show.
I know.
Because she was brilliant on it.
She's so good.
It was a funny premise of a man marrying another Christine and she's being involved because of the kids and everything. Yeah. And them.
It's a good conceit.
It's like one of those first blended family kind of conceits, and it ran for what
4 years, 4 seasons,
almost enough for syndication.
Yeah. She was also on Veep, appearing in 65 episodes from 2012 to 2019, which is an amazingly, brilliantly funny show.
I have to admit that I have not watched it.
You should watch Veep.
I know.
It is so good.
I know. It's everything
so
in my
good.
wheelhouse.
Yes,
I don't know
it
why
is. I'm shocked you've not seen it.
I am too.
I get to be shocked this time.
Well, good. It's got a zag when you zig sometimes, baby.
I highly recommend it. It's really funny. Louis-Dreyfus also, she's received more Emmys than anyone else at 11 Primetime Emmy Awards, 8 for acting and 3 for producing.
Well, good for her.
She will next be seen in the upcoming Marvel movie Thunderbolts, reprising her role of Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, having already appeared in Black Widow, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier as the character.
I like her character in that. She's just still...
She's great at everything.
And, you forget that she battled cancer, and she's been through it, man.
Yeah.
And she was already... Her family comes from a lot of money, too. So she's kind of like Val Kilmer is one of those people that just got to act. And in this movie... Every single movie of this time had the yuppie characters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they had to, yeah.
This was when people first started eating sushi and doing things that people found to be strange. So this was the representation of that culture.
Nicholas Guest was cast as Todd Chester, Margot's husband. I don't know, Margot.
Why is it wet?
I don't know, Margot. God, I do that all the time. Guest is the brother of Christopher Guest, who I keep forgetting is married to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, yeah.
Literally every time I see that, I'm like, what?
For decades.
Since 1982.
Yeah, I think it was on around A Fish Called Wanda.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
I don't know. I'm not their biographers. But yeah, that was always a weird pairing, but they're still together.
Yeah. It just makes me love Jamie Lee Curtis more.
Oh, me too. And I had no idea that he was Christopher Guest's brother.
I didn't either. Nicholas Guest mostly appeared in low-budget sequels and B-movies like Brain Smasher, a love story, Kickboxer 4, and Puppet Master 5, the final chapter.
Well, the best of them all. I don't think they even had Paul Le Mat in that one.
Since 2000, he's focused mostly on voiceover. He did have a recurring guest role on Sons of Anarchy. His last role was as Martian Manhunter on the team-up animated movie Scooby-Doo and Batman, The Brave and the Bold in 2018.
Interesting.
He's still around, but appears to have retired at the age of 72.
Well, good for him. He deserved better. He was really good in this movie.
He was really good in this movie, but he has a very long... I figured at some point we'll go over more, but he's been in the DC animated universe for years.
Oh, well, then I've probably heard of him.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of those.
He played Martian Manhunter a lot in a number of the movies.
Okay.
Yeah. Brian Doyle-Murray was cast as Frank Shirley, Clark's boss.
Brian Doyle-Murray.
I always love him in this.
I love him in everything.
I know.
He plays the hapless businessman so well, whether it's this or Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Or the hapless head of the caddies and Caddyshack.
Yeah.
He just has that kind of, I don't care.
Yeah.
That attitude about him where he plays a-hole with a heart. Like, he's so dismissive in this movie, but you believe at the end, even though it is so convoluted, it's ridiculous.
It is such a quick turnaround, but I buy it because Brian Doyle-Murray sells it well.
Brian Doyle-Murray is an effing genius.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody else could have, all right, Clark, I'll get you your day. It's just, it's that look. His eyes,
Yeah.
The way he
constantly.
At the beginning, the dismissive look.
when he brings in the gift and he picks up the phone and he's like, give me that meeting. Then make a meeting. It's like, just I want to stop talking to this man. Get him out of my office.
I just love him so much.
Yeah. Doyle-Murray has been nominated for 3 Emmy Awards in 1978, 1979, and 1980 for his work on Saturday Night Live in the category Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing for a Variety, Music, or Comedy Program.
Yeah, he didn't appear a lot, but
I did not know that he wrote for SNL.
Yeah.
I did not know that. 2 other younger brothers, Joel and Bill, are actors as well. Bill Murray and Joel Murray.
I don't know
who Bill is.
I've heard of Joel.
Joel, yeah.
He was in a movie about traffic school. They called Traffic School. Or moving violations. I don't know.
One of those.
Something.
Yeah. His oldest brother, Ed, was a businessman prior to his death in 2020, and brother Andy is a chef and runs the Murray Brothers Caddyshack restaurant located in the World Golf Village Resort near St. Augustine, Florida.
Ugh, those Murray boys love their golf, especially Bill.
I'm pretty sure that Mother and Father Murray needed to stop and put it back in their pants because Jiminy Christmas, there's a lot of them.
Irish Catholic, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
And a Chicago Irish cat. It's cold in Chicago, Adam. You got to do something to keep
stay warm. Doyle is his grandmother's maiden name, and he chose to hyphenate it to avoid confusion with another actor. Doyle can most recently be heard on the Patrick Star Show, an offshoot of SpongeBob SquarePants, voicing Flying Dutchman.
Great.
Which he's been doing since the beginning of the show.
That's awesome.
Flying Dutchman. Yeah.
He's just great. He's
got such a great voice.
He's got a great voice. He's a very subtle actor.
Yeah.
Who you don't think he's doing a lot, but he is.
Yes.
And that's
exactly.
To have such a relaxed and perfect demeanor, that takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And look, man, I think he's just as talented as his brother in terms of writing.
Oh yeah.
And he comes pretty close to acting. I would have loved to.
You're talking about Joel, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Doug Llewellyn was the voice of the parade announcer, and funny, I honestly, in my memory, rewatching it yesterday, I totally forgot that you can barely hear him.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh yeah, that's right, it was Doug Llewellyn.
Doug Llewellyn.
He was the most well known as the court reporter on People's Court from 1981 to 1993. With the good old Judge Wapner. This is what's fascinating, and the reason I included all this. After the first run of the People's Court ended, and after doing coverage for the O.J. Simpson trial, Llewellyn helped create the Judge Judy Show in 1996, and was the supervising producer during its first season.
Oh, wow.
He has made so much money off of that show.
I mean she's made $1 billion. She's the highest paid entertainer ever.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's insane.
In 1986, Llewellyn was a producer of The Mystery of Al Capone's Vaults, which became the highest-rated ever syndicated television show at the time.
This is Geraldo Rivera. Yeah. We are sitting here in front of Al Capone's vault. We're going to be opening up live to see what's inside. Will it be a ton of money? Will it be some secrets?
Such the greatest disappointment ever.
I watched it live. We were all just
so pointless.
Oh, there's nothing in here.
Yeah, it's empty.
This is the end of my career.
People's Court was revived in 1997 after the success of Judge Judy, and Llewellyn returned as the court reporter in 2016, staying until the show's end in 2023. He's currently living in North Carolina, happily retired at the age of 86.
Sitting on a giant pile of cash.
Yeah, oh yeah. So principal photography began for Christmas Vacation on March 27, 1989 in Summit County, Colorado, with footage shot in Silverthorne, Breckenridge, and Frisco, hoping to use the snowy locale. Upon arrival, the production team faced a snowless situation and had to bring in a convoy of trucks to transport snow to specific locations. Ironically, after the snow delivery, Breckenridge experienced a massive snowfall of 10 feet in just 3 days, causing challenges for filming as the crew had to use snowcats to reach their shooting locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. From there, the production moved to Warner Brothers Ranch facilities in Burbank, California, where the set of the Griswold family's house and street is located. The house in which the Griswolds' neighbors, Todd and Margot, live is the same house where the Murtaugh family lived in all 4 Lethal Weapon movies. I worked at the ranch for a number of years.
Oh, yeah.
So it was always fun to drive around. It was very small.
Yeah.
And, it looks like it's such a big neighborhood, but it's literally 4 houses.
Oh, yeah.
It was rumored that Clark's rant about his boss, Mr. Shirley, was ad-libbed. While this is somewhat true, cast members not on screen who were facing Chevy Chase each had a sign hanging around their necks that had one word written on it.
Hey, that is just so humiliating. It's like when Brando made people tape his lines to their forehead, and it's just like, dude, learn your lines.
Yeah. The old Dodge pickup that tailgated Clark and the family in the opening scenes of the movie was previously used by Kurt Russell, his work truck in Overboard in 1987, and in They Live in 1988.
Nice.
I just love that pickup has been used in 3 really, I say great movies, good movies.
Overboard is great. And They Live is great.
They Live is a great movie. Overboard is a guilty pleasure.
You know what? I assure you that when we watch that, it's going to age better because of time.
Oh, yeah. So filming wrapped on June 30th, 1989. The score was done by Angelo Badalamenti. The director asked him to do it because he wanted someone that hadn't done comedy before, and he assumed that Badalamenti would say no.
Yeah, okay, great. Why? What?
It's and the funny thing is that I was listening
very
much for score, and there's not a lot in the movie.
No.
It's weird. But whatever, man. Badalamenti made a ton of money off of it.
They used a lot of...
It's a lot of Christmas and pop music.
Yeah, it's all Motown-y Christmas. That's what they use for every... Motown had such a resurgence in the late 80s.
It did.
So all the soul was back.
The movie debuted at number 2 at the box office while grossing $11.7 million during the opening weekend, behind Back to the Future Part 2. The movie eventually topped the box office charts in its 3rd week of release and remained number 1 the following weekend. It went on to gross a total of $71.3 million in the United States. It was the highest-grossing film in the series until the release of Vacation in 2015.
All right.
Yeah. The movie received mixed reviews upon release. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 2 out of 4 stars, saying,
"The movie is curious in how close it comes to delivering on its material. Sequence after sequence seems to contain all the necessary material to be well on the way towards a payoff, and then it somehow doesn't work."
I think time has proven Roger Ebert wrong. I don't think he's totally wrong.
I actually agree with him. And I think that is the problem with this movie, is that he is absolutely right. Everything in the pot, all the ingredients are there for a perfect soup. Yeah. But for some reason, they didn't measure it correctly and they put in too much salt. So it's a combination of the director and the editor.
Right.
And you can have one that's not good, but you can't have both.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that the editor understood comedy.
Yeah, I would agree.
Or maybe he just wasn't given sufficient amount of shots to do it because...
yeah, it's true. Could have been, yeah.
I really, at some point, as an experiment, I'd almost like to watch this and Home Alone kind of side by side because it really... It shows you how important directing and editing are to physical comedy.
Yeah, agreed.
And especially cartoonish comedy.
Right.
You know?
Which,
And it-
yeah, both movies definitely are.
And they don't really set the tone for the cartoonish comedy.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes out of nowhere. And it's like, okay, it's almost like, okay, here we go. He's going to put we know what's coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not surprising.
It's very projected.
And it's not as clever as it could be.
Right.
And not that I dislike this movie, right?
No, yeah.
I'm just saying that it could have been so much better.
I agree.
This is what keeps it from being a staple of my holiday viewing.
Right.
Is because I can't get over what it could have been.
Yeah.
With all of these great ingredients, they just didn't pull it out. Look, it is definitely worth eating. It is definitely a meal worth having. I just don't know if I'd have seconds.
Yeah, no, I agree. I still really love this movie, but
I wish you should. Look, that's the thing about these types of movies. You should love them.
Yeah,
That's what they're there. They're there. You know, Elf isn't the best movie in the world, but
it's a great movie though.
Elf is a great movie.
It's a lot better than Christmas Vacation, but timing and direction wise and editing, like it's better.
Yeah, but it's just this movie is. It doesn't matter. It is comfort food, man.
Yeah, this is why I only watch it during the Christmas season. I try to watch it once every year. Sometimes I don't, but I try because I really,
It is a fruitcake.
It is.
You don't necessarily want to eat the fruitcake, but once you have a piece, you're like, you know what? Fruitcake isn't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah, everyone said it was terrible.
And then you're like, oh man, that's fruitcake. I'm going to feel this for a week.
So Vegas Vacation followed in 1997 without John Hughes or National Lampoon being involved.
I completely forgot that movie existed.
It's a terrible movie. It made $36.4 million from a $25 million budget and essentially killed the franchise.
And rightly so. Put a bullet in its brain.
It was so not good.
So not good.
In 2003, NBC aired a spin-off called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure, which featured Cousin Eddie's family on a Christmas vacation in the South Pacific.
Oh, I remember the advertising for this.
I do too. Randy Quaid, Miriam, Flynn, and Dana Barron reprised their roles from the previous vacation films alongside series newcomers Jake Thomas, Ed Asner, Sung Hai Lee, and Fred Willard.
Poor Fred Willard and Ed Asner.
Yeah. And Eric Idle reprised his role from European Vacation as well.
I think Eric Idle must have been going through a divorce or something.
They tried to restart the franchise with a legacy sequel in 2015 called Vacation. Following in Clark's footsteps, a grown-up Rusty, played by Ed Helms, surprises his wife, Debbie, played by Christina Applegate, and their two sons, James and Kevin, played by Skylar Gazondo and Steele Stebbins, with a cross-country road trip back to Wally World in an effort to recreate the family vacations he had with his parents and sister, who was played by Leslie Mann.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember this movie. I remember it was okay.
I kind of do, yeah. Both Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo reprised the roles as Clark and Ellen. It's the first entry since the original to receive an R rating. It made over $100 million from a $30 million budget, but was lambasted by critics, and the franchise is officially dead.
Well, good riddance.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's not. Look, they tried, and it's not a bad movie.
Hey,
it's definitely better than Vegas Vacation, a European Vacation.
You have one incredible film.
Yeah.
The first.
Perfect film.
Perfect comedy. Just doing the show, I think I might have to watch the original Vacation today.
Yeah.
Because I need to cleanse my palate.
God, it's so good.
It is so good. And this movie does recapture a lot of the charm and the heart of the first one.
Yeah.
Because it's all about, Clark being nostalgic for Christmas and wanting to create the perfect family Christmas for his person, for his family. And as his wife points out greatly, is like, Clark, you tend to obsess and
what do you
keep
mean?
everybody
What do you
to a
mean?
higher standard.
When?
I never do that. And then she's like, birthdays, weddings.
Literally going to list off everything. Yeah.
And it's so great. And but honestly, they made the biggest mistake of this movie is making it at home.
Yeah. It needed to be something on taking a vacation.
And it could have been Clark wanting to create the perfect Christmas by renting this cabin.
Yeah.
And bringing the entire family to the cabin. And
because you could still have all those great moments of like the doorbell and because there's some great moments with them, like the family showing up and that feeling of dread of like, oh God, the family's here. Like you could still have all that.
Right, but you also have the confusion of a new house.
Yeah.
Oh, it could have been maybe a smart house for the time,
Yeah.
or whatever. And
Smart House in 1989.
they did have that kind of thing. There was the
It's just three guys running around turning lights on for you.
Yeah, exactly. But weird neighbors. Or,
Yeah, I mean, they could have gone some other places with it.
Because, unfortunately, Chevy Chase is a fish out of water. That's where it works.
Yeah.
Him being a victim of circumstances out of his control.
Right.
And being a fish out of water, not being at his home or someplace comfortable. It's just bringing everything to him kind of ruins the whole conceit of what the franchise is.
Yeah.
It's the family doing something and the expectations and everything, and then falling apart.
I mean, that's kind of where the second movie, The European Vacation, had the issues, because they just went to Europe, and then they kind of went around Europe, but not really.
But there wasn't the Holy Grail. The beauty of the first one was it was Wally World. It was the goal.
He wanted to share with his kids the experience he had going to this place and doing this thing. And I get what they were trying to do with this in Christmas Vacation, but you're not building. I guess it's a weak conceit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not building towards you're gonna 20 years you're gonna think back and think about how great this was.
Right. Yeah, it's just they needed to get out of the house. They needed to go someplace. They could have brought all the family with them. They could have had a lot of the same stuff. But Clark being on familiar ground, that's why I think so much of the comedy was dull. Because it's what do people do during Christmas? They put up their decorations. How can we make a boob out of him?
Yeah.
How can we make a boob out of Clark? Just seemed to be the conceit of the script.
But there was still. I feel like there was still something there, because even when he had the tree, and then Todd and Margot come up, and they're like, "Where are you going to put that?" And he's like, "Bend over, and I'll show you."
Oh no! I'm not saying
he's
it is
like,
without.
"How can you say that to me?" And he's like, "I wasn't talking to you."
Yeah.
That's. But there was too many reliance on just bad gags.
Well, that's what's so sad about this film to me, is because there is 45 to 55% of a really good movie.
Yeah.
And if you maintain that tone, the tone of, I'm worried about my bonus.
Yeah.
My neighbors are jerks.
Yeah.
I'm awkwardly flirting with the beautiful young girl.
Right.
All the stuff that Chevy does great.
Honestly, the stuff that didn't work was Chase by himself.
Yeah.
That stuff just didn't really work.
Because the beauty of the first one is his reactions off of things. He is reacting from chaos coming at him.
Right.
Whether it's a woman flirting with him
or the dog peeing on the sandwiches.
Exactly. He is a victim of uncertainty and life.
Yeah.
It's just, they take too much comedy from dad crap.
Right.
And he is so much better when he has somebody to play off of.
Yeah.
And somebody to work with, rather than him just being a goofy physical comedian.
Yeah.
And it's just not, because of the other things that are so much more entertaining, the parts of him putting the lights up or, getting hit in the face over and over again by a board in the attic.
Yeah.
It's lazy.
Yeah.
And it's just not as entertaining, unfortunately. And I think my biggest problem is there's a really good movie in there.
I know.
And I get the angriest when somebody takes what could be a really good movie and mucks it up with just dumb decisions. And I know some executive or somebody was like, we need more physical comedy in there. We need more dumb, bits. We need bits. Put in more bits. And unfortunately, the bits, whether it's him greasing his sled, which it would have been hilarious if it was a 2-minute thing.
It went on for so long.
So long. And that's the problem. And that's why I think this director is not a good comedy director, or at least wasn't at the time.
Yeah.
Is because comedy is timing, and it's also knowing when to get the hell out.
Yes, knowing when to end.
And every one of these bits, unfortunately, overstayed their welcome.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just, that's what frustrates me. I get more frustrated with a B- movie than I would a D+ movie, because a D+ movie doesn't know any better.
Right.
But a B- should. And also, when you have such a great cast that are working their ass off to make your movie good, and you're not serving them the way that you should, that also makes me mad. But again,
but definitely give it a try, give it a watch.
I am recommending this.
Yes.
I am recommending watching this movie. I am not. I know I'm super harsh it sounds like I'm being very harsh or critical of it, but I think I just explained why.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I just wish I could enjoy it more. Like, I Ghostbusters 2 was kind of a revelation to me.
Right.
How much I really enjoyed that again. It completely changed my thoughts on the film, and I was kind of hoping that this would happen with this.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen it, and it nudged it up.
Yeah.
It nudged it up a bit, and I enjoyed it more than I used to. And I'm definitely up for watching it on Christmas from now on.
Yeah.
And 100% watch it. But also, maybe afterwards, watch the original Vacation.
Yeah.
Don't watch the original one first.
No. Because
Because then you'll be disappointed. But look, it's you got to see it for everybody in it.
Yeah.
There's some great gags.
It's great. Yeah, it's fun. Look, it's a good Christmas theme. It's available on Max at least through the Christmas season. It's fun. It's 90 minutes. Like, it's not gonna.
Careful watching it with your kids because there's some surprise F-bombs. And, maybe watch it. If you haven't seen it in a while and you got youngies, maybe watch it first, or. But it is a good thing to watch with your family. And
it's a fun movie.
Exactly. It'll get you, it'll tickle your giggles.
Yeah, it'll make you feel like Christmas time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We give it well, like I said, better than I thought.
Yeah.
But not as good as I wanted it to be.
We'll be back next week. We're going to be finishing out our Christmas month with Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Oh, yeah, baby. With the Wet Bandits.
Which they are now called the Sticky Bandits.
Ew.
Yeah. Because they steal things from mail. And so, anyway, we'll talk about it next week.
With the Sticky Bandits.
Yeah. It's just Daniel Stern wanting so badly to brand himself.
Oh, man. I love Daniel Stern.
So good.
Miss him so much. Anyway, get yourself some Christmas vacation. One of the last times you're going to enjoy Chevy Chase.
Yeah, sadly. Until Community. Jump forward 20 years and then watch Community.
Yeah. Anyway, and don't, when you bring a tree in from outside, check for squirrels first.
I don't know, Margot.
Welcome to the Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
God damn it, I knew it. Knew it! And,
it's just weird
Steve
videos.
Irwin.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah.
No, not Steve Irwin. That's the
Crocodile Hunter.
Who's the clown guy, Irwin? Something Irwin. Anyway, he was great.
No, I don't know.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Baywatch. Already in progress.